Hey everybody, how's it going? IntoWeapons back again with you. We thought we would do a quick video here on the comparison between the FIME VEPR AK-47-11 compared to a standard AKM that you'll find on the market. And what we have here to compare with is a parts kit. It's a Polish parts kit built on a US made receiver, but it's a standard AKM with a lot of the normal things that you'll find on a Wasser and an NPAP, things of that nature. So we thought again it would be a great opportunity here to show the differences between the two rifles for perhaps someone who is not as well versed in the AK world and the different features and the different variations that come out there, and if they're looking to buy a particular rifle and they're kind of indecisive between maybe perhaps the VEPR style rifle and the standard AKM style. So we'll just go real quickly over some of the different variances that we've noticed between the two and some of the very obvious ones. The first one that you'll notice right off the bat is the heaviness of the VEPR, and that is one of the big identifiable features of the VEPR rifle is the heavy barrel that it comes with, the heavy receiver, the bulged trunnions, things of that nature. But to give you kind of a close-up here, and hopefully we can get this in camera, but you'll see that we have the two rifles, the lower being the AKM, the upper being the VEPR, and the noticeable difference there between the diameter of and the thickness of the barrel. And the VEPR has a much thicker barrel, essentially contributing to additional weight, but also then contributing subsequently to improved accuracy, as well as better heat dissipation and a longer life barrel. So you'll be able to utilize this rifle a little bit longer and not have to worry about the break-in of it. As well as that, we also have a beefier, because of the thick barrel, a beefier front gas block here, just to be able to accommodate stretching around that thick barrel as well. Both gas blocks are 45-degree angle gas blocks, so they're pretty standard in that respect. You'll also notice that because of the different style gas block there, and also the handguard and just kind of the general setup, that the VEPR rifle does not accommodate a cleaning rod comparatively to what most AKMs that you'll find on the market will. So this particular one does. Wassers is very common to have a cleaning rod available with it, but there is no clip in the front here to be able to retain that cleaning rod on the VEPR rifle. Moving our way kind of to the front, since we kind of passed it up there, the muzzle thread pattern is exactly the same, a 14x1 left-hand twist, so you're able to accommodate any type of muzzle brake on either of these rifles that is a standard AKM. The front sight block is a little bit different. The bottom one is just a standard AKM, where the top VEPR one is a little bit beefier RPK style, and it does have the same functions where you're able to drift that pin in and out to be able to adjust for windage. And it is able to spin screw style up and down to adjust for elevation as well. So it does have the same functionality, it's just a little bit different of a design, and again a little bit beefier because of the RPK style. Moving towards the rear end here, or the top I should say, we have the AK style gas block system, and those are identical. So what you'll find is the length and width of the gas blocks, or gas tubes I should say, and upper handguards as well for that matter, are exactly the same. So you won't have any kind of differences there. You're able to use standard AKM upper handguards to replace anything on this VEPR that you may want, which is real nice. The lower handguard is a little bit different comparatively from the VEPR to the standard AKM that you'll have on the market. Essentially, the lower handguard for the VEPR is going to be a little bit beefier. It's also going to be sized for the 1.6mm thick receiver that you have on the VEPR compared to the standard 1mm thick stamped receiver that you'll find on regular AKMs throughout the market. So there is a difference there. You're not able to use standard AKM furniture on here, at least without modification for the VEPR. Moving kind of back towards the middle of the gun on the top, you'll notice that we do have a difference in sights. So with a standard AKM, what you'll have is the standard AKM leaf sight, which is very familiar with most people for an AKM, and that'll adjust you out to 800, sometimes to 1,000 meters. You also have on the VEPR then the RPK style sight, rear leaf sight, and what that allows you to do is, as you can see comparatively here, we have 800 yards or meters, whatever that is, out to, and the VEPR here has got 1,000, but it also allows you to adjust for windage on this particular one here as well by switching this back and forth. So quick, easy adjustments, whereas the standard AKM doesn't allow you that type of adjustment. Although with this particular leaf setup, you would be able to replace generically, typically, or I should say, with any type of AKM style rear leaf sight that you would want. They should be able to clamp in there and essentially perform the same operation as a standard AKM. Moving towards the side of the receiver here, you'll notice the major difference that we have on the VEPR is a bulged front trunnion. And that's evident between, or by the bulge here that you'll see right behind the lower handguard and right underneath the bolt carrier charging handle. But what you'll have is just a thick bulge, which is going to be identifiable as an RPK style, and that gives you some additional rigidity as well as kind of additional compensation for the recoil, allowing for just a more robust receiver. Whereas a standard AKM, you'll see kind of just more of a flat back there. There isn't anything that's as far as additional reinforcements in there that you'll find. Moving then back towards the rear end, typically you'd have the same exact safety selectors in here. On the VEPR we have the upgraded Mark 7 Krebs Custom Enhanced Safety Selector, but generically you'd be able to swap that out with any kind of standard AKM safety selector as well. Pistol grips are going to be exactly the same as far as fit and identification, so standard AKM pistol grip will work here on the VEPR rifle easily without any type of modification generally. The trigger group, the fire control group I should say, is going to be identical as a standard AKM, so you'll be able to typically drop in like a G2 replacement, or what we have here on the VEPR is the ALG AKT trigger. So those things are definitely interchangeable. As you move back towards the rear end of the receiver, and perhaps we can show this as we open up the gun a little bit more, but on the AKM it's again just going to be a standard type of reinforcement with the receiver. With the VEPR, it does have a nice solid block in there for some additional reinforcement on the rear of the receiver, but it's not something that stands out as a standout feature. So, but there is a difference there between the two. The dust covers themselves, you'll notice with the AKM here that we have, this is a pretty standard one. You have these ribs that are run along the side here, but it is going to be a little bit thinner compared to the thickness of the dust cover on the VEPR, Molot VEPR here. So, and I think that's just, again, a testament to Molot and the overbuilt tankness that they have on these Molot VEPRs. So, and then moving our way back towards the rear end with the stocks, you are able to replace the VEPR Molot or Molot VEPR here, stock with any type of aftermarket AK, aftermarket stock I should say. You may need a little bit of a modification needed to the fitting to be able to accommodate the 1.6 millimeter thick receiver of the VEPR, but that is something that you're easily able to do. And of course we have the adapter on here to allow the AR style buffer tube, as well as the BMS MIL minimalist stock, I believe is what it's called for the VEPR here, whereas we have on this one a Fab Defense recoil absorbing type of stock. You can see that there. So those things are some of the major differences between the exterior on that side at least. On the other side, what you'll notice is we have on the AKM, at least this particular one, we have no side rail scope mount, whereas the FIME VEPR does have the side rail scope mount to be able to put any type of optics of choice that you want on there. That's something that you can find within the AKM world as well. So for instance, if this was a Wasser 1063 from Romania, those do come with a side rail scope mount on there. I believe the MPAPs and OPAPs do as well, but in this particular case, this AKM does not. So that's something you'll want to keep in mind if you are looking at the differences between the two, which one you may be interested in purchasing. You can purchase aftermarket additional rails. I think one that's on the market right now is the AK Master mount, and that essentially just adds on to the side there using the fire control group retaining pins to hold it in place. And that seems to be pretty popular for needing an aftermarket sight system to be put on a rifle such as this without a side rail scope mount. From that point, guys, I think what we'll do is we'll go ahead and break it in and show you the interior of the firearm and some of the internals that are different, and perhaps the bolt carrier, the bolt, the ejector, extractor, that kind of thing. So we'll get around the bench and break them apart for you. Okay, so to pop these guys open, we have the standard AKM. We'll pull the dust cover off. We'll remove the recoil spring. We'll go ahead and put the hammer down so we can remove the bolt and bolt carrier, and we'll set that aside here to be able to compare the two. And we'll go to set this aside, and then we'll go ahead and break down the FIME VEPR here, and we'll pop off this thicker dust cover, remove this recoil spring, put our hammer down, remove our bolted bolt carrier to set that on top there. And we'll go ahead and kind of show you the differences between these two. I guess first and foremost, I have not looked at if there is a difference between the actual bolt systems, but they do look very similar. I'm not really seeing a whole lot of difference there. It looks like the lugs are fairly similar. The extractor claw is a little bit of a different design, but it seems like it fit the same purpose. I do not believe that these would be interchangeable. It does look like the lugs themselves, the locking lugs, are of different design and different size, so that's something that would not be interchangeable or the same between the two of an AKM and a VEPR rifle. So that's something to keep in mind. We also have the bolt carrier, and just kind of looking at the bolt carriers there, you're able to see the channel cutouts. Those look fairly similar. It looks like the VEPR has a little bit thicker of a cutout to accommodate that different size lug that it has. And looks like also where that bolt carrier rides in is a little bit different of a retaining channel there. So it's a little bit longer on the VEPR compared to the AKM. Moving our way towards the front, the size or length, I should say, of both the bolt carriers and pistons here for the gas system is about the same. There isn't much difference there. I don't really see a whole lot of difference between the two pistons, except for the fact that the AKM is a little bit thicker comparatively to this VEPR here for that gas piston. And I'm assuming that's just more of a weight reduction system. There really isn't any type of functionality there that is required of that skinnier type of gas piston. But then at the end, you'll notice that with the AKM, you also have the riveted channels throughout the puck here, as compared to the Molot VEPR, which is just a solid type of lug there, or puck, if you will. And I think that's really common with the Russian type line of firearms that you get, such as the Saiga and such like that, you know, with the IZ-132, as well as some of the Saiga 12 rifles as well, so or shotguns. So that's something that you'll find the difference between those two. Functionality-wise, I don't really know if there is anything that is different between the two. I think it's just more of a country of design type thing. So other than that, the two bolt carriers look very similar. It seems like they would function similar. You can see that it has a little bit of a different design on the back there. But other than that, the two bolt carriers are very similar. What we also have inside here is the two extractors, and you'll notice that they're both right there. There's one right there for you on the AKM, and there's the one on the Molot FIME VEPR here, and they're just a little bit different of a style. This one seems to be, it would be a little bit thicker, a little bit more robust compared to a standard AKM, but that's just my opinion, just kind of looking at it from here. Chamber face here, if we can get maybe an angle on that. Now the Molot FIME VEPR is chrome lined, and I don't think you guys are really going to get to have a good view on this, but hopefully you can kind of see a little bit. So it is chrome lined on this one, which is really nice, hammer forged chrome lined barrel. And a lot of the standard AKMs that you'll find on the market are the same as well. You'll have a hammer forged chrome lined barrel, except for perhaps the Zastava products, MPAP, OPAP, M70B1s, that kind of stuff, which have just a bare steel barrel. So that's something that you'll want to keep in mind as well if you're looking at purchasing a VEPR compared to maybe one of the AKMs, at least from the Zastava, Serbia Zastava, on the market. That's pretty much it, guys. I really can't think of anything else. You can see there's a little bit of a height difference and a width difference there between the gas openings there for the AKM versus the VEPR, and it looks like the VEPR is just a little bit shorter, a little bit wider, which I don't, again, think has anything to do with the functionality of the rifle. It's just more of a design implementation. I hope that helps somebody out. If, again, you're in the market to purchase either a VEPR or a standard AKM and you're not as familiar with the different characteristics between the two rifles, that gives you kind of a basis understanding of what you're looking for, what you maybe want to look for, and hopefully help you identify what particular rifle you might want to go for. So if you have any questions, feel free to let us know, guys. Otherwise, I appreciate watching. Till next time, take her easy.